Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to This Will Be Named Later, a podcast about content creators, the creative culture, if you will. Now, this is a part where I act all professional and tell you what the podcast is about, but I'm not really good at being professional, so let's just keep it a buck. And like I said, we talk about creators from all walks of life, from all mediums, modders, podcasters, video content creators, vloggers, bloggers, everybody in between. But more specifically at this juncture, we're talking about wrestling creators because a lot of us are underserved in the wrestling community, but there's a lot of us creating content and a lot of content that needs to be consumed, that needs to be known about, and needs to be discussed, distributed, and brought forth into a bigger light. So I hope that with this podcast, we can do that and shine a light on some of these people that are making dope ass stuff for the wrestling community. And now a word from our sponsor.
OCWFED is a hybrid pro wrestling eFed that combines elements of role play and competitive play using the WWE 2K franchise. Whether you're on PlayStation or Xbox, OCWFED is a creative outlet for gamers and pro wrestling fans alike. With over 16 years experience producing weekly content and live Twitch events, OCWFED has a thriving community with handlers from all over the world. If this sounds like your cup of tea, come check us out at OCWFed.com, OCWFedTV on YouTube, and OCWFed on Twitch. It's like D&D for wrestling nerds.
Hello, folks. My name's JCS, and coming to the stage, it's not really a stage, but coming to the podcast is Shannon Williams. You might remember him from the first episode or two of This Will Be Named Later podcast back maybe a year and a half almost. Actually, it's almost 2 years. He was the first guest when we decided to go on this podcast venture. So as I said back then, once the game is out or coming to be released, I want to have you back. And look at that. Brought us together. So this episode is on Friday, but we actually record this on Thursday, aka release date, which you can now pick up, mark out the wrestling card game on Steam right now. It's on sale, so go buy it. But before you do that, actually maybe multitask. Do that and also at the same time listen to my talk with Shannon Williams. It's fun. We go through the release date stuff. We go through a bunch of other questions. And again, as usual, it's a good conversation. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Here we go.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of This Will Be Named Later, a podcast about content creators. And speaking of creators, we got the one and only Shannon Williams, the creator of Markout Wrestling, the TCG card game. The last time we spoke was roughly a year and 8 months ago, something like that, November of 2019. I said, I want to speak to this dude before the launch. The launch is actually today. So when you listen to this might be deployed on Friday. But as of today, Thursday, August 20, if my math is correct, 26, Markout is officially available on the Steam store. So pick that up. Support the good brother. Shannon, how are you, sir? How are you feeling?
Hey, man, I'm feeling great. Today is actually my birthday as well.
Oh, my God. Happy birthday, dude.
Thank you. It's my birthday. It's my 1 year anniversary with my wife. My son's 5-month anniversary. Everything hit today. It's just the perfect storm. So I'm in great spirits today. Honestly, man, I couldn't be happier with the reception that Markout has gotten so far. It's just been amazing, honestly, humbling because you saw it at Spot Callers where I didn't really have a vision for the game yet. I knew there were certain elements I wanted, but I didn't know that it was going to be a card game and look like this and work like that until COVID hit. And once everything got started, man, there was no slowing down. Like it's been like pedal to the metal. Today, I think what did I do? Yesterday, I did 26 hours straight.
Yeah.
I woke up at like a crazy time. Was trying to release the game at 3 a.m. this morning. I wanted the game to be done. I didn't finish until 7 a.m. So that happened, and I had to celebrate for a couple minutes and got me about 2 hours of sleep and got to chill with my wife for a minute, and then it was right back to the grind, fixing bugs. Sorry, I'm getting my words mixed up, but fixing bugs, getting that day one patch out, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm currently deploying that day one patch. I got both my computers up, and we're grinding.
I appreciate how you're able to multitask because I cannot do that. It might just be the age thing because I always bring up that I'm old and dusty. So while you have that youthful exuberance, you got to get it all out there. So the fact you want 2 hours, you want a podcast right now, and you patching and fixing bugs, you've been like nonstop. I was watching the little Discord light, and I saw when I woke up in the morning, you posted something. I'm like, damn, that's really early for this dude to be awake. And then like 2 hours later, you hit me. I'm like, he's still awake. What's going on, man? And it's beautiful to see, man. I'm so like elated because I remember our previous conversation, and like you said, like, what did you want to do? You had some ideas. You showed me some of the like the very, 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 very early footage and whatnot, and just to see what's happened throughout, this. It's like it's pretty much been almost 2 years, but to see the development and all this organic growth and like to see all these people getting behind you, it's beautiful to see, man, because you rarely see it organically, and you rarely see it what's the word I'm looking for, the right way, because everyone wants to chase this or whatever, but people are like, hey, we like video games, this is a video game, and it's not vaporware, so what's up? So you got people going hitting you left and right, and it's just dope to see. So speaking of too, we ran your ad. Remember I asked you a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, I don't remember, but in June or whatever, asked you for some like B-roll or whatever, and we posted it on our stream. And that got people, hey, I heard about that. And then today, a bunch of my guys from OCWFed, they wound up copying some copies. And then for we have an event on Saturday and Sunday, Summerside, a little pay-per-view thing. We're going to be giving away copies of the mark-out for some folks there as well, because you got to support other people. You got to support, like, the day ones. So it's beautiful to see. I got a couple questions. I know it's crazy for you, but so I hit you with this. Since you started back then, right, and it's been a long, hard road for you, what kind of hurdles did you run into, from then to now?
Okay.
I know it's a lot. You could pick and choose one, because I know from your Twitter there's always something, so you could pick whatever stands out the most.
I was about to say, like, I can just give you an hour worth of stuff that went wrong this morning. Yeah, let me try to keep it big picture. So, for the most part, I like to break my problems up into 2 different categories.
Mm-hmm.
You have issues that are your fault, being the user, like my fault, meaning I programmed something incorrectly, I misspelled something, something like that. And then you have issues that are limitations of software. And when you build something out, like, I'm a very logical person. I like when things make sense. Yeah. So if I make an error, I'm able to go and kind of retrace my steps and see what I did to kind of fix my error. And that tends to be a process where it's a lot of me sitting, deep thought, just, I might look like I'm pissed off, but it's really just a thinking phase, trying to understand what's going on. It's like a bunch of equations going on. You ever watched Doctor Strange?
Yes.
And you remember when you went to the multiverse, where, that's how it is in my head when I'm trying to figure out problems. I have to, because especially when you build games, which have so many different moving components, everything works together. So if you break something in one place, it's likely it's going to break in other places, and you might not see those until you have specific circumstances that warrant that issue to arise. So when I have my issues, those tend to get solved. I tend to feel confident after that. Now, the issues that make you want to pick your computer, your laptop up, drive a hammer through it, throw it out the window, set it on fire, all of that stuff, that comes down to it being a limitation of the software. You still there?
Oh, I'm here. I'm listening to you.
Okay, cool. I was making sure my mic didn't go off.
No, you good. I ain't interrupted.
I'm talking to you on the TV right now. My other computer is dead.
Fantastic.
But so it's funny. I have my tower hooked up to the television, and I have like 2 long extension cords with a mic in my hand. I'm just walking back and forth with the mic, but this is what you got to do when you got goals. Okay,
that's fine.
Back to the story.
Just make sure you don't blow no fuses, bro.
Back to the story. So when it's the issues of the applications, those are a lot harder to solve. So just to give you a few examples, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have a creative wrestler mode in my game.
Yes.
This is not something that existed 3 weeks ago.
And that I noticed too. I'm like,
yeah, I didn't have faces in the game, if you could recall.
Yep.
And it wasn't until I kept getting feedback and I kept thinking, like, man, if I really want this to go more mainstream, I want to get more eyes on this, I'm going to need more than just these slender men looking characters. So I spent legit, I'm not lying to you, I spent 5 days basically just straight trying to figure out how I could make morphing possible. All of these different shapes. I had to take a head and merge it on my body, had the UV map, I had to paint. It's so many elements to it, and I had to learn it all on the fly. And that is one of the most satisfying things, because YouTube is very helpful. You are able to go ahead, and when you need to figure out how to do something specific, go to YouTube, type it up, and learn on the fly. And that's what a lot of my development has been. Like, if you've ever seen my Twitch streams, you probably see me typically like tunnel vision, like I'm working on something. But what you don't see a lot of the times is the amount of research that has to go into game development. Like, I have hair. I had, for the creative wrestler mode, I built out 8 different hairstyles that didn't make it into the game. And I can't tell you how pissed off I was this morning when I went to actually set them up in the game. I had to set up all these different mechanics just to get models to
have hair, basically.
Yeah, to have hair. But when you building out a game, you want things to be modular. You want it to be able to be drag and drop later on down the line.
Of course.
And that's where it gets kind of complicated, because you have to find things that can kind of fit everything. So I had to make it where the same system I use for the hair, I can use for a 3D t-shirt. And that same system I can use for a 3D t-shirt, I can use for a 2D t-shirt. Then I had to, it's just a bunch of different components that have to come together. So when you start going in and tweaking these components, that's when you start noticing bugs. But yeah, that's just one. It's just the hair I wanted to put into the game. I modeled it. I sculpted it. I morphed it, created all these morph shapes. And when I went to put them in Unreal, they would not show up. I'm like, why won't they show up? I was going crazy because I was like an hour away from release at this point when I wanted to release it. Come to find out, somewhere along the process, I still don't even know when, because I haven't had time to go look. It deleted my UV maps so that the materials do not show on the object. So,
in layman's terms, basically, because I'm a layman, I can't even code my way out of a paper bag. So in layman's terms, you did the prerequisite of what you required, but something within the software said, oh, because you did this thing has to be deleted, and then because it's deleted, it's saying, oh, we don't have it, so it's not there.
Exactly.
Jesus.
And it didn't tell me it was deleted.
Oh God.
It never told me it was deleted. I had to find out it was deleted, and there were inconsistencies because some models had it and some didn't. So I didn't know what the issue was, but yeah, man, I'm telling you, like this morning, I had to get to the point because I'm a perfectionist. I want it to be perfect how I had envisioned it and everything. I want it to just go perfectly. So I had to get to the point this morning where I'm like, people are just going to have to play this game and wait for me to add more content. Like, I don't have 3D shirts, 3D pants because I have them, but I don't like how the body starts to clip through. So I need to create alpha maps. I didn't have time to do it yesterday because I was doing the hair. So it's just, I have to kind of pick and choose what I'm going to be able to take out and put in. Mm-hmm. And for me, that was the hardest part, was really just having to make all these sacrifices on things I wanted to add in that I didn't have time.
Yeah.
That's the blessing of early access. You know, people know it's a game that's in progress.
Exactly.
And we got 2 or 3 years I put on there for me to really flesh this game out, add way more content. And just based on the reception today, I think it's going to be perfect. Honestly, I see the game going more from how it is right now, where people are just focused on leveling up. I think it's going to be more of a sandbox because people are going to level up fast, and there's so many different modes I'm putting in that people are going to enjoy.
Oh, see, that was the thing too that you mentioned in our very first conversation, like a year and change ago, like you wanted it to be some kind of free flowing thing where you can kind of do what you want. You laid out a bunch of different like scenarios, so to see that it's going to turn into a sandbox is good. That's, like you said, that's the beauty of early access. It's like, hey, this is what's going on. It's early, so don't expect, the world over the moon or the cow over the moon and all that good stuff. But if you support now, and as we go, we only get bigger and bigger and better. And like you said, I actually saw, like, I see on the Twitter feed, like, I just see, I'm like, this dude is doing like a lot of stuff mad quick. I saw like the hair, like when you were talking about the hair stuff, I remember seeing that. I'm like, Jesus, this guy's a monster. like Like, that's not even like, as the kids say, that's not cap. That's like legitimate. And the fact that you can absorb that information and process it and use it logically, that's a testament, I guess, to the way your brain works. Whereas mine doesn't work that way. I'll Google specific issues I have, and then I don't find what I'm looking for. And then people's like, you're Googling it wrong. I'm like, how am I Googling it wrong? Like, that's just my issue. But the fact that you're able to do this and just kind of like, did you, I don't know, are you like a kind of, not a genius, but like a high capacity for information retention? Because coding and programming feels like, because I have a friend who's an engineer, and when he talks, it sounds similar to you, but he's like a software engineer, not specific games. And it's like that information just like, what is it? What's the secret? What's the tenacity? Greg, I notes. What's up? Let me know.
Ironically, I'm actually a software engineer. I have a full-time job.
There you go.
That I actually work. But I transitioned to being a software engineer this year. Before that, I had no experience in software engineering. I couldn't write C++. I couldn't write Java. I couldn't write JavaScript, anything. I barely still can to this day. But I get by. But really, it's just about creative thinking. That's really what it is. Once you condition your mind to realize, to understand, first of all, what you want to make happen, right? You got to figure out what you want to make happen. The second part is just understanding the language that you need. So you need to understand your tools to make it happen. And then once you do that, you just continue to build on it. So for me, I use a lot of blueprints. I don't really use C++ at all. I had to do one C++ script for a file browser a couple weeks ago, and that was it. But and I was done after that. I'm like, look, I'm good. I don't want to touch it. But it was really just, it's like art. You realize, okay, cool. For instance, I wanted to have it where you could build your own moves in the game.
Yeah.
2.5 years ago, I wouldn't have known anything about structures or data tables or any of that because I just hadn't been messing around in Unreal like that, right? So as I continue to learn Unreal and I continue to just spend more time in it, I realized I can build my own classes and I can put all of these things in my classes. I can have like something like a subclass where I have, like, I can't even explain it. But once I realized all of these different things I could do, and I started taking elements from this and then taking elements from that and putting it together, I started realizing this is actually possible. Like, my vision is possible. I realized I could save certain types of variables and variable types. And I'm like, I actually have everything I need here. I just need time, I need a vision, and I need to clean it up. And that's how this game happened, honestly. I didn't even, when I started this game as Markout, so this is after we had our interview. Yeah. I didn't know how to do a drag and drop system. I didn't. So I had to look up on YouTube how to do a drag and drop system. And then I did it with the person who was doing it. And that's how Markout started as the card game, where I started just dragging cards. Dragging cards in the deck. Then I completely scrapped that. I don't even have that in there anymore. That's what's funny. I only do drag and drop when you are playing the cards. But I used to have it where you were managing the deck. It was drag and drop. And yeah, I don't know. I guess, and then attention to detail is the other thing.
Do you have like copious notes and whatnot, or just kind of like you just kind of work off the dome and then you do it bit by bit?
I got a sketchbook.
There you go.
Or not. I have multiple sketchbooks, and I draw out my vision before I do it. So, like menus, I draw out a menu and lay out the menu. And then once I've done that, I'm able to build from there and say, okay, cool. Now that I got my layout, I can start doing this. I can start doing this. I can start actually building it out in the game. And you block it out. You test small components of it first, and then you put all the pieces together like Steam Workshop. I had to learn that, 2 weeks ago? I built Steam Workshop, and I didn't know anything about Steam Workshop before I started working on it. And I had to just take pieces here, test the thing here, test all of these things here. I had to find out how you could upload folders, how you could download folders. Now the folders are in this place. How do I get the folder, the content from where it's at to where I need it? Like, just so many different things that you don't think about until you have to do it. And you're like, all right, well, I got to figure it out. And then I'm a real, I'm a really heavy person when it comes down to my relationship with God. And we don't have to get too deep into it here, but I had like this weird confidence when I'm doing stuff where I feel like if I just keep trying, I'm gonna get it. And that's what always happens. Like I'll be trying for like two or 3 days thinking it's not possible. And then it'll work out and it always just works out for the good. So I can't take any credit for
the power of perseverance. And you know, if that helps you and that's what's your motivation, then by all means keep it up, man. That's you people need something. That's the thing. Like people need something, and whatever works for you is what you should do, as long as it works out in a positive manner. And that's exactly what you're doing. Like you've been like this since the last time we spoke, and it's the same energy. The fact that you still got the same exact energy as we're progressing, and it's the same thing, and it's just the same mountain of momentum. And then regarding momentum too, like how do you feel about all of this like feedback and just like mad heads, dude? Mad heads is like, yo, about what's happening today and building up to it. Like, is that shocking to you? Are you surprised by it? Like, how you feel about that?
It's like I got multiple feelings. Like I feel like I'm like 3 different people in one.
How so?
Like, so the main part of me, like the little kid in me, wants to mark out. Like people are playing something I created. I built this thing for 2 years. I was telling my wife, I'm like, I damn near spent more time building the game than I did spending time with my family, because I had a goal I had to hit. And now I'm done. I get to see people playing it. I'm happy, right? That's the one part of me. The other part of me is I'm like a protective parent now, because now that's my baby. Like I created this project from nothing. And, I'm like really, really, I try not to be defensive over the project, where if I see bad comments, which I've only seen, 2, and they weren't even crazy bad. But like when I see those comments, I'm trying to get to a different mental space where I don't internalize it, and I, just keep going and look at all the positives. So, because I'm the type of person where even if I have 100 people saying it's great, those 2 people that say it sucks are the people that will drive me crazy.
Don't do that.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, man.
Oh yeah, no, especially with something
especially when you got so much invested. Like I just can't really explain. It's just like I have so much time, money, energy, everything just invested in it. So it's hard to really disassociate myself, but I'm trying my best. And then the third part of me is the business mindset, where it's like, okay, cool. You dropped your game, you can celebrate for, 15, 20 minutes. Now you got to get back to work. Now it's time for the updates. Now it's time for the patches. Now it's time for the next evolution of it. Because you have momentum, you don't want to lose the people, and that's the part of me that typically wins out. Is the part of me that really takes stuff serious. And you can probably tell, man, I don't want to sit up all day. I got a newborn baby. I'm not trying to sit up all night long. Got to go to work, tired the next day. But when I said I was releasing this game on August 26th, I meant that.
Yeah, and you did it. And I remember you had like some kind of they denied you like what, a couple days ago, and then you're like, nope. I saw that. From the shadows, I watched.
I was trying to be transparent because this was it is an emotional roller coaster for you when you developing something and you releasing this. It's an emotional roller coaster because I had a date of August 26th, and it hit me like I wasn't counting the days down correctly. I was counting my work days down based on me working every single day up until the game released. Then I looked at the Steam page again, and it said that they needed about 3 to 5 days to review the game. So I'm like, at that point, I had 10 days in my head. That immediately cut it down to 3 days, because I said, well, if they need 5 days, I need to give them an extra week in case they deny it. What happened? I gave them the extra time, and they denied it. And that, like, literally, they denied it late on Friday. I was asleep. I woke up to it on Saturday morning, denied, gave me my reasons why. I had to crank out like 40 logos for the achievements, all types of stuff. And I resubmitted it in the morning or like 1 o'clock that day. And then, on that Monday, they went ahead and approved it. But I'm telling you, when I got a goal in mind, I got to hit my goal. I can't let nothing stop me. Can't let anything stop you.
As they say, beast mode. Yeah, man. I watched silently from the shadows on the timeline and everything in between. It's like, yo, my man is doing what he got to do, and it's just beautiful to see, man. And now that you're here, you made it to the dance, everything aligned. There's like so much so much left to do. But on the way there, another question I had honestly, how does it feel to also have a community manager now? Because I'm sure that was a big help, a big boon.
Yeah, having James. I mean, if you look at my Twitter account, we're about to hit 2,000 people. We might hit it tonight, if the numbers keep going. Because this morning I woke up, we were at about 1920. Now we're at like 1980, 1990.
Yeah.
So we might hit $2,000, and most of that is through. And this is the thing about it. James is the type of person where he is connected. So even if he himself does not make a post and that post goes nuts, he knows the right people to send that post to bring more eyes to the post to make it go nuts. And that's what he taught me, just being a community manager for Markout, because he came in with all of these different established relationships with different content creators who had never heard of my game, and now they're retweeting stuff off of my page. And it's like, what? Like, I'm having a meeting with JB, who's a big supercar player. I'm letting him test the game out, and he's giving me live feedback on the game. But we had never spoken before James came into the picture. And that's one of the things that I really value the most. Is the social media part is cool. It's the relationships, like the networking that he was able to allow me to build with other people, because I just had no means of actually being in contact with these people. And a lot of times when you reach out and you don't have a verified check mark next to your name, or you don't have over 10,000 followers, people won't even look at you. They won't even take you serious. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I've dealt with before in an old project, and I didn't want to deal with it again this time. And that's why this time my focus was build the game and let the game talk. And
that's how it's supposed to be. Did he come to you, or you went to him? How'd that work out? How'd that come about?
It was mutual. I was posting fillers, whatever you call it. Because I really knew I needed somebody, because I didn't have time to manage social media effectively.
Of course.
Like you see on my Twitter account that I manage, like my personal Twitter account, I don't even take screenshots. Like I just pull my phone from my side, take a picture, and post it on Twitter. And that's just me. Like I'm like,
it's a skill.
It throw me off. Like if I had to sit up taking a screen, like I just can't. It throw my focus off. So I'm like, oh, this is a cool snap post. So I needed somebody. So I put it out there. Hey, I really need a content manager.
Community manager.
Yeah, excuse me. I need a community manager.
Right. You also need some sleep, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like when I talk too much, I start getting hiccups. So I had to slow down when I'm talking. I don't talk too fast. But yes, I need a community manager. And James, he did the eye emoji or whatever. Like I see it, and then he shot me a message, and it worked out perfectly because he was looking for experience. So this project was perfect for him. Now he has his name in the credits. Like you might have seen on his page, he was able to say, my first video game where my name is in the credits. And that's something that we don't really value. Like I wish I could have, had millions and millions of dollars to pay him just to do it. But just the experience enough for him was great. And then for me, it was the connections that we built. And, I'm the type of person, I just like positivity. I don't get in drama. I don't get anything else. So when people come to me and, they come with good spirits and they really want to just have a good energy with me, I'm vibing with it all the time. And that's just what it was.
That's how you got to be. You got to keep, like, it's weird because some people relish that negativity, that negative energy, and some people are actually able to flourish with that nonsense. But for the most part, when, you keep it positive and you keep it good, generally, you usually get good people and good support, which you can see like with all these other cats are hitting you up and all the good vibrations or the good vibes, as the youngsters say, because I'm old and dusty. But back to the other thing though, when you said like the negativity and the negative comments, you got to make sure, like, this is something like I don't program, but I do have a thing where it goes out to people, like my stuff, so with my community, and eventually you get some negative stuff, but sometimes you just got to be like, first of all, you have to, is this person correct? That's the first thing. And then if they are, okay, well then what do I have to do to fix it? But most of the time, whenever anybody hits you with something negative, it's something that, that is BS, is garbage. And it's like, well, this person's just doing that because that's what they do because it's Twitter and maybe they're miserable. Who knows? Maybe they want to joke. But if it's somebody that actually has a genuine criticism, that's when you can look at that and be like, okay, what's the truth in this horse crap salad that I have to find eventually? Or you can do the Joe Rogan thing and basically just don't look at the comments at all, and you save yourself a headache.
And I think I evolved today because this morning it was somebody who said they posted a YouTube video reviewing the game. And the first comment I read, it was like, delete this shitty game. And I looked at my wife. I was like,
did they actually play it though? Did they actually play it though?
No, they didn't play the game. Like, it wasn't the person who made.
Oh, it's a comment on the video.
Yeah.
That guy's a loser. That guy's a loser.
And so I clicked on his page, and he had like 4 subscribers and no videos of himself.
Yeah,
and so then I was like, I can't even watch the YouTube video right now because I knew I can't really describe it. Like, it's anxiety. It's like when you create something, you see somebody playing it.
It's space. Yeah, no, that's basically what it is. It's something that you're passionate about. It's something you put time, effort, energy, stuff you can't get back because time is a finite resource. And then to see someone just show around and go, oh, why did you have hair? It's like, word, I bet. Oh, why does he have a face? Like, all right, cool, no problem.
Yeah.
Got you, dog, got you. Oh, why can't I have the Seth Rollins suit? Like, I bet, son. I got you. Like, you gotta. There's always gonna be that one person or that group of people that just shows up like, eh. It's like, all right, cool. But then if you say, all right, what can you do? Well, that's not my job. It's like, yeah, exactly. Just please be quiet and go away or whatever. But you have, you have to differentiate though between valid criticisms and stupidity, because if you don't allow valid criticism to go through, like, because there's people, and we know, I'm sure you know them, but I know people too that like, everything I do is amazing, and if you don't agree with me, you're wrong. That you can't live like that. Like, when I do anything, when I do videos, everything I do to myself, I hate it, and I can always feel like I can improve. So when people go, oh, that's really cool, that's really nice, I'm like, all right, thanks, appreciate it. Like, I don't let anything go to my head. So you have to take that. I'm not telling you what to do, but you should probably have that same mentality of like, anything I can do, there's probably some place to improve upon, and just try to find that information, try to find that criticism. Like, if you ever, I don't know, me personally, like, if you stand, I'm the greatest of all time, that generally can usually lead to not good things. Like, you have to have some kind of counterbalance where somebody, be it family, be it fans, be it criticism, can say, that's good, but, there's always you have a but, like, oh yeah, you're right. And then that's how you make greatness. That's how you make, a legacy. That's how you make good stuff. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's how I feel like you
speaking 100% facts, and that's what happened today. I had somebody who played the game, and I read the review on Steam, and it said not recommended. And when I read the comments, it was like a 2-paragraph thing.
Wow.
It was about one aspect of the game, which is just the reversal system. They said not recommended because you could basically just spam the reversal system. And I'd already been aware of this because certain people, a lot of people have reached out about it. And, I told them, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm working on it right now. But I'm like, that's the purpose of early access, is to try to find and figure out what areas, what gaps there are. So it was just funny when I was reading, because then, me, I'm a research person. So after that, I clicked on his account. So I'm like, all right, let me see what else he commented on. And it was just a bunch of negative reviews on different games. I'm like,
is there one positive thing?
It was probably 2 or 3 positive reviews.
Out of how many negative?
It had to be like 10 or 12 negative.
Damn. And that's just somebody who's mad picky.
Yeah, I'm like that. That's what it hit me with. What it made me realize. I'm like, this is somebody who, and I think I even put that in reply. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna win you over with fixing this reversal system. I think this might just be, you just might not like the game or concept,
which is fair. Because they're entitled to that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like that, and that's your 100% your opinion. And the thing about it is, a lot of people have come into this game, and I'm so happy that most people have come in with a clear mindset. But a lot of people are coming into this game with comparisons, understandably, to other wrestling card games. Even when people saw the game, they thought about Supercard. When people started seeing the game play, when I started telling people the game play, they started talking about Raw Deal, and there was another one that people were talking about. And I had to keep telling people, I'm like, y'all have to understand, I don't play these games. Like I don't play Supercard. I don't play any other card game. I don't like card games. Like that's what's so funny about the thing is I hate card games. But it was one card game I was playing, which was Animation Throwdown on my phone, and I was addicted to it. Everywhere I went, I had to just pull it out and play games with it. And I was like, oh, this would be cool if it was a wrestling concept with it. And then that's where this game came from. But I just need people to understand it. I'm not trying to be 2K. I'm not trying to be, virtual basement. They got the graphics and stuff. I'm not trying to be Supercard because it's a card game and it has wrestling. I'm not trying to be any of these other games. Like Markout is its own unique thing. You have to come into it with that mindset that this is not going to be a whole, full blown, I need a strategy book to play the game type deal. This is a casual gamer.
It's funny that you say that because one of the questions I have is actually, it says, basically for someone who is into card games, like yours, like what, like basically like Magic or Pokemon, like how would someone basically like what type of card game is this? And I think you just answered that. Like it's basically more like a casual thing. It's not overly thinking. Like how would you classify the Markout experience? I guess you don't play card games, but like compared to maybe say Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, or even like whatever else, like how would you compare or how would you set apart Markout from that?
I would say, and this is probably gonna be like a blanket statement, so people I don't know how they might react to it, but Markout to me is a wrestling game that uses cards. That's always how I viewed it. I wanted to make a professional wrestling game. I didn't have the money and everything to make a fully animated, moving around game like that skill. But when I started messing around with trying to make like a digital stop motion thing, I realized I had an animation style. I'm like, oh, I could feed off of this. I could keep going. That's where it turned into Spot Callers, which was a turn-based game. Yeah. It was still just a wrestling game, but it was just a different style. Then when I started thinking about the whole card aspect of, I was messing around like an AR thing at my job one day and it popped in my head like, oh, this would be a cool concept. And then that's where the card element came into play, where it's like, okay, these can be cards. The moves can be actual cards that you use to throw out, but it's not necessarily a card. It's just weird because it's like a hybrid, but I really want people to focus on the content of the matches that you're able to have, the moves that are in the game, and they are just presented as cards.
Gotcha. Yeah, because
Go ahead.
No, because that's another thing. Basically, the other question following that was, would you describe it more of a card game for wrestling fans or a wrestling game for card game fans? Like, who's the target audience, or is it kind of just built for like mass appeal?
Yeah, so that's a great question, but you hit it right on the head. It's definitely, to me, it's a card game for wrestling fans. Because if you think about Supercard, right? I played Supercard like 2016. I don't play the games anymore, but I played in like 2016, and it was a pretty straightforward game. You had, your cards, and your cards had stats, and it would automatically match up with people when you would win or lose. This game has a little bit more strategy to it because it's a real-time match happening. So even if your opponent comes in with stronger cards, there's still a possibility that you could win the match depending on how you play the game. What cards you use, how you use the cards, if you reverse, if you save your energy and hit them with big cards. Like it's just a much more interactive card game to me, for wrestling fans. And that's where my audience, that's why I focus majority on just wrestling fans. Like you didn't really see me going to Hearthstone and Pokemon chats and all of these different chats saying, hey, I got a card game out and it's just revolving wrestling. No, I was going into the wrestling chats, the 2K communities, the WWE communities, people who watch wrestling saying, I have a wrestling game that is using cards. Like this is a wrestling card game, but you actually see the matches happen real time. Like you want to feel the impact of that pile driver you throw it out. See you drop your opponent on the head. Like that's a whole different vibe to me than any other card game I've really played. Or wrestling game, card game. Like it's like a hybrid of both, and I haven't really seen that happen before.
For something like this, I'll say I haven't seen it. I've only seen Supercard like once or twice. All I remember about Supercard is I saw a bunch of numbers on a card and it gave me PTSD because I don't know how to count, and I'm like, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not putting this on my phone. I can't. There's too many numbers. I don't like numbers. I don't like being late. I don't like spending my hard-earned money on a weekly. Nah, I'm good. So I just freaked out about that. And then like when it's something like Hearthstone, it's different, but it's so many strategies and this and a third. And Hearthstone's great, Magic is great, but these games feel overly complex. Whereas Markout seems, I'm actually, after this, because I've had a long day after this, I'm actually going to pick up my copy, because I have a couple members who've had it and they were playing it on their breaks, and they enjoy it. There's actually one comment I've heard so far was that I think you have create a card, correct? Create a card, something like that. Yeah, they said that was incredibly complicated. Like it's really like it was hard for them to figure that out. So do with that what you will. I don't know what that means until I actually get my hands on it. I'll play it and I can give you some feedback if you want it. But they were like that. Yeah. They were like, oh my God, I don't know what's happening with this. But other than that, it was everything was pretty positive. Like, this is pretty good. Like basically is that it's early access. So like people don't have these my guys, most of the OCWFed community, they don't have these illusions of grandeur. They basically had a bunch of questions, which hopefully I can get to before we're done, about little things in here, here and there. And it's like, this is one of the games they're looking forward to, because we like wrestling games. So yesterday I bought Wrestling Empire, and today I'm buying Markout. So it's like Wrestling Week, I guess. It's like you got to support the indie devs, and it's good because I've never seen something like this. And from the footage you show me, and then where we're at now, this is something that you have so much potential for like so many cool little things you can add, and you never even know. Maybe like a couple signed people might show up or something like that. Maybe that might be kind of cool. Like if some indie guy hits you up and like, hey man, do you want to put me in the game? It's like, all right, cool, man. Here's a sandwich.
Yeah. So it's weird. It's like one of them. It's like, because I've dealt with people before. I made a fighting game. It was a fighting game with Detroit rappers on it.
Oh,
and these were real people. These were real rappers. And for me doing this on my own was such a less stressful environment. Like everything about it was just smooth. And it makes me it takes me to the point where I want to worry less about the wrestlers being on it, because I have Steam Workshop.
Yep.
You can do custom textures. People are gonna make everybody. Like I have no concern that
that's what I was gonna ask you.
The next 2 months, we're gonna see a CM Punk and Aleister Black call, that just looks amazing in the game if it's the style.
So,
but
quick, I'm sorry to cut you off. The Steam Workshop, is it just what? Because from what I know about Steam Workshop is like, depending on the game, it's like full on modification. For Markout, is it full on modification, or is it just like maybe call creation or wrestler creation? Like what's the extent of the workshop for Markout at this particular moment?
Yeah, for Markout right now, it's not full modification. Currently, it's just having the wrestlers, and then you can make custom moves and custom cards.
Okay.
And I mean custom poses and custom cards. So, by the way, what people were complaining about, I know exactly what they're talking about. They're talking about the pose animation system, which is complex. It's something I built out for myself to use, and I just released it. But once you get the hang of it, you'll be fine. What I need to do is I need to just make a tutorial video, another one, because I had one out last year. Yeah. And I'll make another one really just explaining it, and then I think people really get the hang. It's just like if you had action figures and you just choose a body part and you rotate it, and that's it.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it looks overwhelming because there's so many things on the menu. But yeah, eventually I think I might support full mods, but we're gonna see. I think my focus right now, I really want to focus on building tools for you all to create things. So for instance, like creating an arena. Like I want somebody who doesn't know anything about mods to be able to go in and recreate an arena that they saw on TV.
That'll be the kicker. People love custom creation. So whether it's making, SummerSlam or All Out or whatever they make, that's like a good, look, what's the game? What's the game that came out the other day? Was it Action Arcade Wrestling?
Arcade?
Their creation system is complex, but the fact that they gave you the tools to do it if you want to. I've seen, like, I saw an Iron Man, I saw a Batman, I saw Becky Lynch, I saw Roman Reigns, I saw CM, like, within the span of like a couple of days. And then I saw the rings too. I saw a couple of custom rings. Like, if you give them the tools and they're somewhat simple, the rest will follow. Even if they're not simple, look at Fire Pro. They have a move and part editor that you need like you need like a degree in physics for that. And I know people who still do that, who still, do what they have to do in that. So all you got to do is do the tutorial, or maybe simple out a couple of things, and then, give it to the masses, and the masses do what they do. And next thing you know, you have an entire AEW roster and Markout, and it's just at the beginning.
Yeah. And That's what I'm excited. That was the primary focus of me focusing on Steam Workshop, because I knew I would only be able to create so many assets, especially before the due date, because I had to swap. You got to think, I didn't even have a wrestler with a face in weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I had to make the wrestler. I had to make morphs. I had to make over 80, like over 100 morph shapes for this character, which means I had to sculpt every single place, like blend shape from hand by hand. And then I had to add textures. I had to UV map. I had to do everything else. So I knew off rip, I'm like, I'm not going to have time to really add as much as I would want to add to this. So I need to figure out how I can integrate Steam Workshop. And what I did with the characters, you can upload your custom textures on the character. So you have custom textures for the face, the body, and the legs and the arms. And you can just upload your own textures to it. So people are going to go and make these real looking textures of wrestlers and put it in the game, and then you can share it on Steam Workshop like that.
No, perfect. That's the building. Has anyone, like, it's only been out a couple hours, but has anyone made a thing yet, or?
I didn't see any, but I didn't actually check the official site, so I'm gonna have to check the official site. But when I checked earlier, I didn't see. I think a lot of people are just playing the game. That's what was interesting. I was in my Discord, and I happened to just scroll down my Discord and saw it was like a group of like 6 people, all in the group chat playing Markout. Like all of them had, like, it was like 3 of them that had screens up, or two or 3 of them had screens up, and they were just sitting up playing Markout, and they were using the default wrestler. They didn't even change the name on the character. They just wanted to hop into matches. And I think that's what a lot of people are doing, is the creator wrestler feels so secondary, but for a lot of people, it's going to feel like once you realize you can make a lot of different people and you can make your matches feel more special, people are going to go back and start saying, okay, how can I get CM Punk in my game? How can I get Darby Allin in my game? Now I have this balcony on this arena that's here. How can I make an animation where Darby Allin is doing coffin drop
Jeez.
off the top of the balcony? And then you start really seeing the creativity and the flexibility of this game. Like, you can build matches. I have a match builder where you can literally choose what wrestler you want to do what animation, and then it'll play in sequential order of what you chose.
Yeah,
this is gonna be great.
That's in right now?
That's in. That's in.
God.
You have to unlock it.
Okay,
it's called Match Crafter, and you can use cards that I already have in the game, because all cards are animated. You can use any of my cards, or you can use your custom cards, and that's why the custom builder tool is going to be so cool, because people are going to make everything. You can make anything you want, any move you've seen in a wrestling match, you can make. I even got weapons in there that you can use right now.
Oh, great! So amazing.
Yeah, people are going to go crazy. I just feel it, and that's why I really was like, I think Markout will be ready for early access, because I wouldn't have finished this game by the time, like today, had I not announced the date. I would have still been working on this game, and I wouldn't have been halfway to where I am now, because I wouldn't have had anything pushing on me.
Oh, that's the beauty of these type of things. So the next question I kind of got, I think you kind of answered it, but we'll just get all of it, because this was from my community, so I kind of want to answer it anyway. They basically asked how do you integrate different match types into the card system? Are there or will there be multi-man matches, and how would those work? How would those work with the card mechanics? I know it's a lot just tossed at you, so pick what you want to answer.
Yeah. So, first of all, these are all questions that are swirling around my head currently.
Yes.
Like, I don't have an answer for it, which is why it's not in the game right now.
Okay.
I did the furthest I thought about for multi-man matches was tag team matches.
I have that in the notes too. Like, how would a tag match work?
Yeah, that could be possible. It would just have one player going at a time, and then you would tag out, and then the other player would switch. And that's something I had in a long time ago, and I took it out because I didn't have any double team moves, so it was pointless. Now, the other thing you could think about is you start thinking about like a triple threat, like a 3-way and a 4-way, where, okay, now the UI might switch up a little, because now it's my turn. I get to choose who I want to do a move on. Now I hit my move. Then the thing becomes, who's next? How do you determine who's next? And that's all I'm trying to figure out now, because that might have to have a little more randomization involved in it, or because I can't just do who has the most momentum all the time, because that will consistently, or you do who has the least momentum. Every person who has the least momentum, they're the person who gets to go. It's like loser. You play basketball, and it's loser take it instead of winner take it.
Yeah. I'm trash, so yeah, I get it.
the person with the least amount of points always gets the ball first. Like even if you have 10 points and I have 2 points, I could get the ball back 4 times before you get the ball again. Unless you steal it and play defensive. Like I would just have to figure that out. And that's why I didn't want to rush everything yet. I wanted to kind of start small, start light. And then the other question was about the match types. It's 3 matches in there right now. They all basically play the same. The difference that you will see with the match types is that you will have access to different cards. So every match is still the same principle of get your opponent's spirit to 0. But when I start adding things like the ladder match, the tables match, well, I got to figure out tables, but hardcore matches, you'll just have access to different cards that you didn't have access to before for that match. Because every card can't be played in every match type. Like you can't use steel cage cards in a regular match. You don't have access to them. And that's about as far as I thought about. But
don't be thinking about it. Yeah, cool. Like I was thinking, cool. just now I was thinking about like how like maybe a fatal 4-way would work, trying to get my creative juices flowing. And I just kind of got like what if there's a maybe there's a card that you can play that allows you and somebody maybe at random or someone you pick and lets you do a double team move on a selected person. Like that might be an idea. And then I was trying to think like you were thinking like how do you figure out who goes when? Does it just go in like order? Does it go by momentum? Does it go who has least, who has more? Like is it a random? Is it a randomizer thing? Like all these things are kind of exciting because I'm trying to think. Imagine like me, like you or you or whatever, you and 3 of your friends. Like, hey, let's have a fatal 4-way in markout, see what happens, and like you just kind of gets crazy. And then speaking of that, so I saw also on Twitter someone was saying about the replay feature. You want to talk about that because they were gushing about the replay feature. So does that mean that like, after you're done with the match, you could just kind of replay the whole thing sequentially like an actual match? How does that work?
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
There you go.
I don't know why
he was happy, but they were happy by that boy. They was happy as in the clam, son.
Dude, I'm happy about it when I see it. Like I see it pop up. I'm like, oh yeah, let me watch the match back. And I'm like, ooh, hit him with that. Ooh, hit him with that. And then I really realize how cool of a feature it is. It's like it's simple things. It doesn't help the gameplay, but it's just a caveat that some people will enjoy. Like you might have had a match where you thought you were going to lose 4 times in it, and you kept pulling out different stops, and now you want to go back and watch the entire thing. Like that's just something that I felt like was really cool. But that same system is the system I'm using for the match crafter. So exactly how you watch a match back is how you watch a match you put together.
So thinking about that, like that could also open up the possibility for because you obviously about like eFeds and whatnot. Like they have traditional, like mine's it's called Video Fed, I guess. I don't know. Wherever I joined, they call it that. But basically, we do player versus player with the 2K system. People fight around the world. They beat each other up. Better players win. Lower players don't. But people write. Blah. But traditional eFeds also have writing. So a lot of times they don't have like a visual medium per se for what's happening. So there's a real possibility that maybe that might be like a thing now. They'll do their text role plays, this, that, and the third, and then maybe somebody decides to make, I'll make my guy, you make your guy, and then they'll play a match, with the cards, and then they can just use the replay, save the replay, or record it, however they record it, and they can post it on YouTube, and that's like the match on top of what they wrote, and that's kind of like another level where you might see markout. That's actually kind of cool thinking back. That might be kind of dope for like people. Because I've seen they have Minecraft wrestling now. They have Roblox wrestling now. So why not have markout wrestling too? Wrestling replay. Right. For some of y'all out there, EFED heads, yeah, look it up. That's kind of dope. So in the spirit of gaming, I know you said there will never be any monetization. So that question's out the no microtransactions. So what are the goals that you would have, I guess, to maybe bring in more I guess coins to the coffers and whatnot? Do you plan maybe like a season pass or maybe expansions down the line, or you haven't even gotten to that point of thinking yet?
It's like it's been swirling around my brain, and it's like I think it will be like a season pass DLC thing where for like because we're all in season 1 right now.
Yeah,
but let's say in 6 months I go ahead and I have season 2, and it has a bunch of different things in it that I want to go ahead and put back on sale. And let's say I sell that for $5 or $5 or $10, and now you get access to season 2. So it is like a season pass, and I definitely think that might be the best option because I don't want to do the microtransactions where you got all these card packs and stuff in the game. And this is the other thing.
Yeah.
If I did that, I would have to do a separation between people who bought items and people who didn't, and that's not too hard. But I didn't want the game to get too muddy where people started feeling like obtaining the cards were less special because you could just go buy the same card. Like I wanted to still feel like people can't just go buy this card. People could cheat. People could cheat at anything, but I wanted it to feel like I wanted it to feel special. Like, for instance, somebody pulled a Spirit Bomb card today. And they posted it on Discord, and they were like, "How rare is this card?" And they said this card is trash to have this ranking, like because it was like 3rd, but they thought it was 2nd. So just that conversation alone, I explained to them like, well, the rarity is actually determined not only on the base value you see, but since cards can be upgraded, it goes based on the maximum value that it can get. And I wanted these cards all to still have that special feeling where they still felt unique, where if you got a power bomb and you got a pop-up power bomb, these are 2 different cards and you could do different things with them. And I think microtransactions definitely doors that down because you might have 2 friends, like let's say myself and you are playing the game and you've been grinding for like 2 months and you finally get this rare card that you've been wanting because you just wanted to be able to see the move or you just wanted it to use it to assign it to a wrestler in the game. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I'll just go buy the same card the same day. And it just it would be crushing to you because it would be, hey, I've spent all of this time. And that's the same reason why I don't have trading in the game currently. I do want to put a trading system in, but I want the cards to get a little more established. Let the cards grow on people,
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about like a trading or an auction house kind of thing. Like that's good, but it could also be like a slippery slope because, then it becomes like rarity is something artificially like rare or whatever like that. That becomes this whole other thing. Like basically you're one person. You're not a team of people. You're not like, it's like not 12 of you. There's just one of you. So something like that, you might want to get everything fresh and clean and minty and get out of early access. Then you can maybe decide to go bigger and bolder and whatever before you make yourself another headache. Because when it comes to these kind of games, there's always some way that these people want to suck the fun out of it. And you got to make sure they don't suck the fun out of it because they can suck the fun out of it for themselves, but then they'll try to do it to other people. Like, oh, I got this rare stuff, and they just abuse and whatever. Like I seen it happen with Hearthstone. With Hearthstone, you gotta stay with the Joneses and you gotta buy the new expansion pack. So you got to buy, oh, hey, Amazon has a sale, $50 for like 10 packs of cards. And they're digital cards. And it's like, I remember at one point I was like, oh, that's not bad. And I did it once and I felt like an idiot and never did it again because I played that season and within maybe, 4 or 5 weeks, the next expansion came out. And I was like, now this card and this whole set of thing that I did is now pretty much useless. And now that's good for some people, but for me, it's like I can't keep up with the Joneses like that. I just want to play a game and have fun. So like I can't. So it's not gonna work for me like that. So with your idea with Season Pass, that might be the best bet. Go ahead.
And that's the other thing I didn't want to do. I didn't want to nullify cards when I release new cards. Moves are still moves. Your moves shouldn't be nerfed. Because you brought another move out. You know what I'm saying? Like if I have a power bomb, my power bomb should be just as powerful in season 1 as it is in season 2. Now, the way I want to do it, because a lot of cards they stack they keep making every new card stronger than the card before it. So you just constantly have this scale that goes up, and it drives people to want to get the new cards, definitely. But I'm gonna try to go a different route, as I have with a lot of stuff here, and try to find a different way to do it where the cards still feel like you want to obtain them, but you don't necessarily have to discard all of your old cards. You just work and grind it for all of these cards. They should still feel special to you. But and that's why I think the way I'm doing my tiers are going to make sense, because right now you have like basic cards, right? But then the new cards that come out will be more specialized. So for one of them, I have like we have Suplex Machinery Edition 1 right now. What happens when I get Suplex Machinery Edition 2? Now, even though the cards might not all be stronger than all of the Season 1 cards, you see, okay, cool, these are new, completely different moves that I can use in the game. And that's what makes this game so special to me, is the fact that you seeing the moves makes the card feel even more unique, because it's not just a picture on a piece of cardboard. You actually see 3D modeled flesh doing moves to each other. And that, I think that's just gonna make it so much a much more different game, and allow this game to still have life to the point where, 2 or 3 years down the line, we have 1,000 cards possibly in the game, and people are happy with the cards that they have, and they might have season 1 cards. Let's make the season 1 cards feel rare. Let's give them some specialty to them. I just want to find a different way to actually go about it than the way everyone does.
Yeah, it's gonna be like it's gonna basically be like a trial and error until you figure out what you're comfortable with. That being said, with you basically said that you basically in the match you're building constantly momentum as you get stronger and stronger. Are there, like, for the player versus player type of thing, is there a way to, I guess, debuff your opponent, to like bring them down maybe a notch, so that it's not just basically, he's basically steamrolling me and then I have no chance of coming back?
No, not right now. I can't think of anything.
Something to consider.
The closest thing I could say to a buff are the markout moments. Yeah. I have markout moment cards where you do different things. Like I have one that switches hands with your opponent. So you take all the cards that your opponent had. Another one, you level up all the cards in your hand by 1, or max them. Yeah. So it's different things that like that right now. But these are things that I didn't want to start building out all of these things before I got it in people's hands, because I knew the people would tell me better than I could tell myself.
Yeah, what made sense, you get the feedback. Like. Again, early access. That's the beauty of it. Where you start is not where you end up, unless you're one of those horrible devs. But you're not, because you've proven you're a freaking machine when it just comes to the grind.
And that's what's crazy to me. I feel like I'm getting, as people say, getting your flowers. Like, I finally feel like that now, because I've had an uphill battle, especially, being a black dev. You kind of got to work double as hard, because, you have a couple of other
talk about that. Go ahead.
What, being a black developer? Well, me being a solo dev is not as well, I guess, I don't know. Okay, this is the thing about it. Being a black developer, I can't just go ask for money. Like, especially not in the wrestling community. I can't just go ask for money without having a game to show. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
I can't go ask for grants and stuff for an imaginary game that is not built out. I have to do the work first and then get the proceeds afterward. And that's the process I'm in now, where now I did all the work for 2 years. I supplemented the work I did with income from my full-time job, and built a game that I'm able to monetize. And now the game is out for people to go ahead and buy. But I had to earn that trust by doing Twitch streams, by showing people I was actually developing the game. Because a lot of people would think, oh, you're just buying assets offline. You're not building it yourself. You got, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of different things people try to throw out there. And people don't gravitate towards the truth. People like what's juicy. So people would rather take what somebody might say negative about you than actually look at the proof. Like, no, I actually built all of this. And that's why I did a lot of the Twitch streams, because I wanted to showcase. I wanted people to see the work. I remember
the early ones from like 2019 too. You went there. It was like maybe 1 or 2 people, and now that they're better now. There's people everywhere. Like it's growth, bro. You did it. You did what you got to do. You do what they call the grind time. You put your nose to the grindstone and you kept at it. And it's just dope to see. It's dope to see, like, from 2019 to 2021, and we're gonna have 2022 soon. But early access, bro. You made it. You made it, Papa. You made it. So
and it's crazy because, like, M. Dickey, legendary wrestling game developer at this point. He has millions easily. He retweeted my game today. Yeah. I'm getting M. Dickey. I'm getting people who are legends in this business, like people from Brian Williams, who's working with AEW developing their game, retweeting my stuff. And that's what gets me now is I see, like, I built this now. Like, it's hard when you're doing it. You don't really see what it is until you see the reactions of people. And the reactions have been outstanding. Like, I can't even, like, it motivated me. Today I wasn't even going to work, But me seeing the reactions, me seeing the momentum, me seeing new people getting eyes on the product, I'm like, okay, I got to get this fixed before more people get to it. Like, I don't want these same bugs to be lingering. I don't want this game to it could quickly go from positive to negative reviews on Steam.
Real quick, within 24 hours, you got to be on it like white on rice. Speaking of, you smash like before now, you smashed like what 7 out of like 10 bugs already.
I'm done now.
Yeah, you did it. So did you get all of them, or you just got the 7?
I got all of them. I got all 10. It was bugs and features. So like one of the things, like Tony the pizza guy, one of the big wrestling gaming YouTubers, he played it today. He told me he enjoyed it, and he gave me feedback. He was like, one of the biggest things he wanted to see was they felt like the animations for revealing the cards felt a little too tedious. So I had a bunch of different people kind of hit me up about that same thing in different ways and say, hey, can you speed it up? Can you do this? Can you do that? So I'm like, okay, cool. Well, this is what I'll do. I'll give you 2 options. So now when you open card packs, you'll see a button that says open, and then you'll see a button that says fast open or something like that. Open quick, some crap like that. I forgot what it said. And quick open. And when you hit quick open, you don't see all of the cards. You don't see the light show and the card flip around and all of that. You just see it said bow, and it lists out all the cards you got right there. And you hover over. That was built today. That system was built a couple hours ago, and that's just one of the things. Like, I added options for full screen, V-Sync, all these different settings that people wanted to see. That's in the game. I fixed the bug where people thought that they were, it kept accusing people of cheating because they would innovate a card, and it wouldn't read that buff stat as a potential stat that they could get to. And therefore, it would read it as cheating whenever they played that card. I had to fix that bug. Then I had to make how I'm doing the cheat system. I had to re-register so that all the people who got accused of cheating are no longer looked at as cheaters and are refreshed. And it was just a bunch of different things. Oh, the beards, like the sideburns, the 3D sideburns. Another stupid thing that happened somewhere in development. When you try to apply morph to the sideburns, it distorts crazy. It just goes nuts. So I had to fix that, where I had to just get rid of all the morph shapes so that the sideburns don't have morph shapes anymore. So you might see a little clipping, but I'm sure people would rather have a little clipping than have a facial hair they can't apply without applying morphs to the face. It's just a bunch of stuff I had to just go ahead and knock it out. And now the game is to a place where I think I don't know if it's updated or not. I hope it is. Steam's website is horrible when it comes to trying to understand what is actually going on with it.
You know what? That's facts. And I love Steam, but it's like half the time, like it's just I just click play and that's it, because I can't. It's too much. But it's like the iTunes for gaming, but it is what it is. So we're gonna start wrapping things up because I know you're busy as all hell, and I ain't trying to keep you here forever. So one of the other questions I had, it is a question. It's a very vague question, but I'm sure it's kind of been answered. How often will there be updates? Well, I don't know why I'm asking it like so pretentiously, but yeah, how often will there be updates? I know today you did a bunch, so I guess we can assume it's going to be updated often.
So my goal is every 3 to 6 months I want to do updates, like major updates.
Okay.
And then I'll do little minor updates, bug fixes, different things here and there in between. But this game is so self-sufficient. Once we get the community going, it's a wrap. I won't have to do too much more.
It's funny you mentioned the community, because that's the next damn question. You must be reading my mind, Hoop. Any plans on expanding the community aspect of the game by adding things like private tournaments, leagues, or clans?
Possibly.
Fair enough.
I haven't done any thoughts on it yet. I've heard about it, but I haven't done any thoughts. So possibly, I'm not going to rule anything out.
Fair enough. So, or we can we can ask for. Here's one I guess I have. Maybe I'll switch the order of this. I'll switch the order of this, and then we'll end up with the final question. So the first one is, what do you? Oh no, actually about what do you do now that you knew back then? But actually, I don't remember if I did or if I didn't. But what do you know now that you wish you knew back then when you were developing Markout?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get sidetracked. People were just tweeting me because a bunch of people just start streaming the game. People just start streaming the game out the blue. I was trying to see if it was updated. The game is updated, so that's good. So whenever you want to play it, the updated version is out. Now you said, what do I know now that I wish I knew earlier when I started working on Markout?
That's correct.
What would I say? I'm thinking.
No problem. Take your time thinking. And again, I applaud your multitasking ability. I can't chew bubblegum and podcast either, bro. Dead ass.
I'm trying to think because this is actually like a killer question because I'm the type of person where I don't have regret. Like
Damn.
I feel like everything that I went, like I'm serious. Like, I'm like that about life. I'm like that about everything.
Got you.
Everything I learned, I don't feel like I would have got to the point I'm at now had I not gone through all of that. So when you ask me what I would change, or
not what you would change, but like what thing maybe it's like I don't know. It could be anything, like maybe a programming trick, a software trick, maybe a workflow thing.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Whatever you want, man. It's free flowing, bro.
What I would have done differently, I'm going to say maps. That's what it is, maps. So I didn't know about maps when I first started using Unreal Engine, but you basically have different types of lists, like ways you can list objects and items. The most common one is an array in Unreal, where it's literally just a list of items and it's just a flat list. So let's say we have our names. An array of our names could be as simple as one object or no object. But for instance, my name and your name in a list, that's an array. But then I found out this dope thing in Unreal called maps, where it transforms like the traditional array thing, and you can append another value using the key. So for instance, if we want to have our name and our age associated with it, now we would have a list where it's like Shannon 26 and your name, your age, this name, this age, and it will put them all in a list. And you can go and pull by key. Now, the reason why this is so beneficial is because otherwise what I have to do is I have to go through the list. Like, let's say if I wanted to find my age, right? If I don't know my specific index, like I have to have an entirely new table that contains my name, or you can build them in class. Like, that was a dumb example, but you could build them in class. There's a bunch of different ways. But it blew my mind when I found out about them, because that's what I started using for the moves. So it's easier to go ahead and navigate through custom moves and custom card. Like, I didn't learn this until months ago, though, like probably 6 or 7 months ago. And if I would have known before, it would have helped me out. Now, the downside, and this is what I was talking about earlier when I say those technical things that break, that kind of just piss you off.
Yeah.
I was doing all of this work for the online mode. I was trying to get all of that working. And then I did the Create a Wrestler, right? Where you were able to share, you were able to compete against other wrestlers online, other players. The issue is that Unreal does not replicate maps online. So anything I had as a map in the character or in anything else, it wasn't going to send it online. So that meant I had to redo everything that had maps, to have arrays, to do searches differently. It was just a mess. But yeah, that's the one thing that it's a caveat to it all. But yeah, I would have loved to know that.
Well, see, there you go. That's the beauty of the question. You got, as long as you find something. So the other question is, this is kind of a vague one, but do you have, or what advice do you have for maybe a young up and coming dev who, like, they see what you're doing, they're like, man, I want to do what he does. I want to develop something. Maybe they want to develop a wrestling game. Maybe they want to do, something that's similar to Markout but different. Maybe they want to make stick figure wrestling. What kind of advice would you give to maybe a young up and coming video game dev?
This is a great question. I got a couple things. So number one, I would say is understanding your scope and your capabilities. When I first started learning how to make video games, I wanted to make a Day of Reckoning 3. I wanted to have, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yeah, I wanted to make that. And it took me years to realize how much work that would actually take. Ironically, now I think I could make it. Like if I tried right now and I had people to animate, I think I could probably pull something off. You never know what I might keep in my sleeve for one day. But it definitely is just knowing what you're capable of and being realistic with your time. I have learned over the past 2 days how unrealistic I am with time. I'll set a timer. I'll say, okay, cool. I'm gonna have all these texture maps and everything in by 5 o'clock. It'll be like 2 o'clock. I'm still working on it till 8 p.m. I'm like, how am I still working on this? And I wouldn't even be close to done by 8 p.m. So it's really, we have to understand our time, because in our heads, we see, like me at least, I always think things are going to be so much quicker than they are. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to knock that out. I'm going to knock that out. I'm going to knock that out. And then I stress myself out when I realize I'm still working on something and I still have all this other stuff to do. So definitely know your capabilities. And really pay attention to time. Number 2, you got to keep yourself motivated and don't burn yourself out. I burnt myself out a couple times working on Markout, where I was just done. I was moving on to different projects. I was working on my VR stuff. I was having more fun doing that than doing the hard work on Markout, because I was starting to get tired of it. And it took me having my son looking at the calendar and saying, I got to get this game out. For me to actually build this game and go 100% at it. But that burnout is real, and you got to make sure you know how to balance that burnout so that you don't quit on your project altogether. And then number 3 is just have fun. Remember to have fun, because at the end of the day, it's just a video game. I know we hard on ourselves all the time, and I know I'm hard on myself, but when I released this project and I was really smiling and happy, I'm like, I did it. Like, I did it. This was 2 years in the making, and it's out. And I couldn't be happier, because I knew I had fun in the process.
There you go. And finally, the last question before I let you go. We probably talked about it, but the last question anyway, so we're going to give it the big hurrah. What are some of the long-term goals for Markout?
So I actually do have, I got to put a roadmap together, a visual roadmap, but
got you.
Things that I want to have when the game is done, I did put it on the site, and I'm going to try to recite them as best as I can remember. But I definitely want to have over 300 moves in the game, which I think that should be easily attainable, because right now we're already over 100. I want to have create an arena mode, so I don't have to focus on building custom arenas out.
Gotcha.
I want you to be able to basically create any type of wrestler that you want. It won't be like Action Arcade where you can create SpongeBob and stuff, but just real looking people that you can create. And I want this game to have a cult following. I honestly do. Like, I want people who play Markout to defend Markout 7 years later when I retire, like CM Punk, and I'm like, I'm done with games. I want them to still be chanting the name Markout for Markout Part 2. If I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. But yeah, I really just want this game to be successful and bring happiness to people, and I definitely think it's doing that, because when people are playing this game, the reactions I'm getting is happiness. It's not like, oh, this is a boring game. Like, people are actually, I had Tony the Pizza Guy tell me that this game was hard to master but easy to learn, whatever it is. And do you know that that's the thing I wanted this game to be, and I didn't know how to do it, so I just quit on trying to do it, and I'm like, I'm just gonna build a game.
Just gonna but it's easy to pick up, hard to master.
Exactly. That's what he said. And that was the biggest compliment
that's the best
that I got.
That was Blizzard before Blizzard became garbage. Blizzard used to have all these games where, you know, they're colorful, they're awesome, they're fun, they're easy to pick up, but if you want to take it to the next level, you got to put in the time, and then somewhere along the line they lost that, so we'll just forget about them. But that's the best way a game can be. You can pick it up, it has something, but then there's something under it. Like Smash is like that too. There's something under it where it's like, oh, okay, and then, you know, that's where you but then you can still play with like your son, your daughter, whoever the hell else, someone that comes over, someone online, whatever. Or you can play like the Grandmaster Shifu of the Markout verse or something like that. So I think if that's already what's being said, you know, you're already halfway there, Hoot.
Let's do it.
There you go. So that's going to do it for us. Once again, the release day is today, Thursday. This will be out on Friday. But Shannon, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. I know you're on that grind. This was a lot of fun. Do you want to plug? Actually, no, not do you want to. Plug everything now. This is the time where you plug all of your things, all of your projects, all of your sites, all of your happenings, all of your news, all of your updates, all that stuff. Go.
So, all right. So, go ahead and follow me on Twitter at MarkoutCCG. Again, that's MarkoutCCG. It's for collectible card game, all one word. Also, the game is available on Steam right now on sale. Temporary sale, it won't last forever, but you can get the game for about $16.99 and go ahead and have fun. Version 0.0.2 just dropped officially. This new mode features online head-to-head. It features bug fixes. It features a new card opening pack system. Just go check it out. It's all types of stuff in it. And make sure you leave a review. That's one of the most important things for me is leave reviews. I want to be able to combat trolls when they come, so we can have a good armor of positive comments so that it doesn't get overrun by negative ones when people who love other games come and try to destroy it. But go ahead and thank you for supporting me ahead of time. If you are already supporting me, thank you again. Thank you, man, for taking the time again to just chat with me.
I'm just glad you made the time, man.
And yeah, and more information. If you want to just see more information about the game, you can go to markoutwrestling.com. If you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me at PR@markoutwrestling.com. Again, that's PR, like public relations, at markout.com. And that's it. I feel like I'm about to sign off a YouTube video or something.
Do you have a YouTube? You have a YouTube page, right, or no? Do.
Yeah, I got one, but it feel like I'm about to say, make sure y'all hit the subscribe.
The Twitch. What about the Twitch?
Oh yeah, I guess I can plug Twitch.
You're always on Twitch too. You're showing what you're doing on Twitch. You use Twitch often. Use the Twitch.
Yeah, I just haven't done it. I feel like I haven't done it in a while consistently, but the Twitch is Markout TCG, like trading card game. I made an error and they won't let me change it because it's a lock on it. But that's Markout TCG on Twitch, where you can't catch me doing dev live streams, and you will catch me soon playing video games on it because I'm going to start playing video games.
Yeah, a little bit of time. Little bit of free time.
I went and bought me some games today. I got me Spider-Man PlayStation 4 again, and I got the Avengers game.
Spider-Man. There you go. I always make fun of Sony and Spider-Man, so Spider-Man. So yes. So we're signing off. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next go round. You're the first guest in a hot minute, so I'm glad I got you when I got you. All right. Later. So that was our chat with Shannon Williams. Don't forget to pick up Markout on Steam right now on sale. You got sale till September 2nd. You get it, I think it's $16.99 or it's $15.99, whatever, but it's on Steam, and just type Markout wrestling card game and bing bam boom, Bob your uncle. Also, if you want to be a guest on the podcast, it's super duper easy. Hit me up on Twitter at OCWFed. That's OCWFED. We can talk about it, and next thing you know, you could be on the guest on the podcast, and we can ask you a bunch of questions and make you feel awkward. Who knows? So that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe on YouTube, and like and all that good stuff on iTunes and iHeart and blah, 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 blah. You got the idea. Thank you for listening. Have a good night. Peace out. Ciao bella.